Is that a monster in your pocket? Or are you just itching for a battle? No running now. Seems like forever since Mr. Bean poked his head out for the pokes in a big way. Oh, you got no idea what I've stocked in store for you. But let's start with the smaller big. Types are huge, massive, a D-Max wailord of a topic that spiritually scissor holds all that is the world of Pokemon. Got your favorites? Me too. Let's keep the blood off the screen this time, huh? Something this thick gotta make room for a couple notes. Rank criteria is complicated, but the general points are battle properties, designs, personal impact and appeal, and lots of various little things. Judgment will obviously be passed on the current Generation 8 form, which obviously means no mystery or shadow type. And that's script. Run with the Intimidate set. Boy, girl, none, don't matter. The science that's forever welcome to all types unfolds now!
Look! Up in the sky! Is it a bird?
Is it playing?
No! It's both! Sounds like a pretty nice way of saying flying. Doesn't do so over my wildest dreams. One of the greatest evolutionary powers on Earth. Being able to leave it is one of unusual magnitude in the world we actually want to live in. I find that by and large, the type of the sky is the least creative breed. Way too commonly following the outline of literally flying animal soundtrack to nigh universal dual typing. Flying very often struggles to perch alone. Poignant that it functions best as a flock, but forgive me for not being moved by the Pokemon equivalent of pigeons in the park. Granted, that makes them adorable, smart, and bring out a familiar comfort in all the surrounding insanity. The designs are incredibly straightforward, and you're never gonna have to ask, what the hell is that? It's a bird, dumbass. That's most of what it is, really. Birds, aerial reptiles, drifters, and masters of the wind. Their simple schematics are often our first booster seat in understanding the crazier stuff in this series, especially considering how many early routers and legendaries are actually a part of this family, with my favorites being Staraptor, Sigilif, and the forces of nature. While looking to birds so heavily for the designs got a little too reliable, it's fun to consider how they fare against the elements. With their widespread diet of insects and propensity to piss off gardeners, their offensive ace over grass and bug are hilariously dead on. Although, fighting? What, Mike Tyson can't beat Tyson chicken strips? Oh right, birds don't got ears. Their vulnerability to cold weather, shoddy power lines, and just one stone knocking out two of them though? You could say it's for the birds. Oh, but if you thought all this downplaying would be carried by Pigeon to offense? Well, say it with me now. Plentiful and specialized, the aerial assassins of Poke Earth strike with an offensive privilege of a rich racist falcon, dominating the speed stat and neutral hitting 80% of all types at worst, combined with complete immunity to ground. Flying is actually one of the safest offensive types in the entire meta. Reliable stab and powerful support moves in Defog and Tailwind, paired with the common sweeper stats of their ranks. I love Hitchcock. Trusty buzzards to pick the carcasses clean. Love them in fights, but sadly nowhere else. What was born to soar over all others winds up swooping down for handout nummies, but wholesomely and day-makingly so. The ultimate in unassuming, the normal type, is also ultimate in ass-making. So, who's it gonna be? You or me? Trying my best here, and thankfully they are too. Despite the social label, normals are low-key one of the weirdest types in all of mankind. Some animals are clear examples where God said, that's good enough. Kinda the same thing here, only God chanted it in a mirror. Just one look and you're certain you've got the picture down packed. But when it actually comes time to ask what is normal, Well, that's poetically awkward. My specialty. Normal types appear emblematic of the link between ordinary and extraordinary, showcasing that everyday dream of a one-in-a-millionaire, unwittingly harboring an amazing energy they were always told they couldn't. Inspiringly so, they were wrong. I mean, please, do humor me. Reading into exactly why the hell the boring type could possibly wield more elements than the ones they're spiritually demeaned by, it's moving. Look, fat-ass narcoleptic teddy bears farting earthquakes and sneezing blizzards ain't normal. That bastard has talent, and nobody believed in him. You could be that bastard. I could be that bastard. I am that bastard. I am in love with what the normal type symbolizes. That even the common are special. Though I guess ideas aren't quite the same as reality, and that really shows in a fight. The white bread of the Pokemon food chain boasts morbid nutrition facts, the lowest of all average stat totals, 0 winning offensive matchups, and resisting absolutely nothing. Holy erect beaver nipples that sucks full charge timer balls. Props for variety in the move pool. I'm a sucker for support moves. Bat pass, kick ass. But this is the type of god. Damn, he really does love and tolerate all. Except when you punch him. Don't punch him. And don't punch cute little animals. Because most normal types are literal playing ass animals, jerk. They unfortunately share the same oversimplified aura that flying types often give. For that reason, it even commonly pairs with them. But it shines real bright whenever it breaks through. Greedent, Regigigas, Porygon Z, Lopunny, Snorlax, Silvally. Can't get enough of them. Especially you, my Whittleberry piggy. Hugs, please. And hugs to you, normies. Though it's exactly what the hateful hate. Both your best and worst ain't never hurt nobody. In my effort to corner the lucrative market of bottled tears, I forgot that it takes no effort at all. Just take water, pour it into a bottom 3 spot, and watch the salt magically appear. Water, by an abyssal margin, is my least favorite of the starter types. By proxy of being by far the most common, Game Freak's Grand Aquarium has a distractingly awkward quality to quantity ratio. The honestly annoying fact that 1 in every 6 Pokemon ever created pack 2 hydrogen atoms with every breath they take. Damn, Noah! Didn't even let us get on board. I'm getting all nostalgic, bitching about something beloved and widespread like old times. But as the original poster of the too much water meme, forgive me for just being a teensy bit aquaphobic. Water is clearly king amongst the brain children for its frankly overwhelming quantity and low-key forced defensive quality. Clever chemistry is partially forfeited with the favorite starter child's battle properties, taking poison and ice very well despite the real-life element being the easiest thing on earth to pollute and freeze. This, among other mindless balancing, frustratingly gives water types far more defense than logic would like, totaling to an often boring, tanky playstyle on the most common type in the game. If not that, just blast the stupid air breathers with 0 IQ tsunamis in a can. Hello, Kyogre, Araquanid, Dracovish, and the entire Genfly of OU tier. I thought water was literally incapable of tasting flat. Harsh to say, the exhausting simplicity makes them my least favorite to battle with, as the amount of dynamic, interesting strategies Rain can offer are ripped to shreds by the dozens of king-size waterbeds and unmanned fire hoses. So, I've been kind of a dick. This is all just my fighting preference. As the handful of water types I do thoroughly enjoy training keep the still admirable offensive chemistry the type does nail. Eroding rocks and dirt, putting out fires, as well as conducting electricity and feeding plants. That's fun. And because there's so goddamn many of them, it's not hard at all to find one to fall in love with. My affinity for marine life does reserve a soft spot for the roster's better designs. Primarina, Blastoise, Kabutops, Ludicolo, Floatzel, Clawitzer, Swampert, Jellicent. Any one of them is worth a million Love-Disc, Bruxish, and Basculin. Drinking the Agua's boring sometimes, but for all that breath, I couldn't breathe. It's comforting to know that some of it was taken away. Well, the tears start flowing and they don't stop coming. Dead to the trolls and I hit the ground running. For dear life! Straight from your eyes and onto the soil. What I predict to be many drops of sadness, clearly coming from Team Aqua. You lost, old man. Twice. Hail Groudon and the landlord from hell. Ground types, reign over rain. Don't I feel dirty for saying that? That's good, since second base is getting buried alive! The series that gave a McFlurry a face did right on sense, making the literal Earth type a force of nature. Nothing pinches the nerves quite like a well-raised child of Terra. The 5 super effective matchups every one of them is born with does disgusting work to effortlessly cull 37% of the free world. Where do you think the word terrifying got its upper half from? This makes ground types an unfortunate for us favorite of tryhards everywhere, but fortunately so as one of the common folk's strongest stress killers. Just like bullies kicking sand in a nerd's eyes, the nerds take great schadenfreude in bullying with the dozer. It's a very stupid, angry type. Though it still manages to ace chemistry every year, shattering continental rock and steel buildings via earthquakes, deionizing all circuitry, choking campfires with soil, and removing toxins with medicinal clay. It's easy to forget how smart the element actually is when all Pokemon teaches it is hit good. Dumb as dirt, huh? Well, that's kind of my problem. Ground is so one note, it can't even compose for an Atari game. Being nigh anti-support with its garbage status move pool, and being so physically oriented that it deadass feels like you're playing a Gen 3 game. Sweet lord, shoot dust! Don't wear it! Not the best crowd to go to for emotional help. I really have to be in the mood to use grounds, because the type just doesn't cover enough of itself. Pisses me off too. The designs are sick across the board. Palossand, Groudon, Landorus, Sandaconda, Excadrill, Golurk, Crocodile. I wish Earthquake wasn't 95% of your guys' stab. Just goes to show that even the literal breakers of the ground can struggle to be groundbreaking. At the center of every extraordinary idea rests an energy fated to move all that can't. And as the coolest idea ever dreamt, Pokemon's been telekinetically moving us all with energy unmatched since the very beginning. The tale of the psychic type is a Greek tragedy that actually has witnesses! Barely. The original Titan hailed from an unprecedented age of mystic domination, where gods carried spoons. ESP doesn't ordinarily stand for explosive shit production, but consult any RBY veteran for a free shiny muck. Never before has a single force commanded so much awe, and for what felt like so long, from being the strongest thing in RPG history, to flooding the highest ranks of Pokemon etymology, to being the only breed to stake a claim in Ubers every single generation. Psychics project unreal emotional energy, some of the highest of any type. And as I stated in Top 10 Geniuses, it's an especially engaging class of speculative fiction. The brain as a chief weapon against the forces of infinity, taming chaos, expelling the elements, seizing all physics with your noggin. G.I. Joe was onto something, and in a world where knowing is all the battle, big heads make dead. Proficiency in martial smarts rewards you with ridiculously safe offense, phenomenal support coverage, your own priority blocking battle terrain, and some of the most clever battle chemistry of any type. Psychic's weakness in bug, dark, and ghost, as well as the strength against poison and fighting, embodies emotion and invention, possessing fears of creepy crawlies, the wicked unknown, and spiritual superstition, meanwhile inventing cures for disease, and conquering dum-dums in chess. Yes! Yes! Geniuses! Combined with their average mastery of both special stats. It's a hell of a package. All that amazing praise. Where's the amazing placement? Well, truth be told, the designs ain't exactly it. Most of the ones I love have mostly their other type to thank for it, and honestly, many of the pures are pretty basic and lack visual flair compared to other types. Also, like flying, Psychic feels more like a complement to other types than it does stand its own. I'm married more to the idea than the form, though Necrozma, Mewtwo, Mew, Behemoth, Reuniclus, and Deoxys are still my boys! Roll your third eyes all you want. The magic lives on, with and without believers. Does this count as character development? Take it confidently from one of the earliest YouTube instigators of Pokemon fans. They don't blow cool air. Since being burned the 50th time, I'm confident myself that there lies a fire type inside each of us. I've always chronicled fire as this overrated element that belongs under a blanket. Hey, Californian. It's basically our grass. But once again, the game of monsters in my pocket deals a persuasive hand. You'd be body-pressed by Corviknight to find a cozier type than the one that literally keeps you warm. Once started, a fire burns as long as you let it. And despite some acrimony towards the absurdly dedicated firefighters, few trainers willfully put it out. Probably because, despite igniting rocket fuel, fire types ain't rocket science. One of the brashest badasses in offensive play. The nigh universally high speed and attack literally burn the honchos of hot into the minds of sweep freaks everywhere. You know, I can't be clever for every sentence. Y'all got some fat rage problems. Field mouse? Burn it. Ground pimple? Burn it. Cheeseburger? Burn it. Puppy? Burn it. Orphanage? Burn it. Puppy orphanage? Burn it. That's how Growlithe are born. Look, it's orange devil jizz. Blue if he ain't so lucky. It ain't gonna balance your checkbook. Simple science, too. Just torch and melt things that are easy to torch and melt. True, simplicity's part of the fun, and it turns singles matches into baked Alaska, but it's also a disappointment. Fire's pretty much just the ground type if it had good defensive properties and coverage for both attacking stats. Gives a lot more offensive variety to pump into your kindled kin, and at least their two support moves, Will-O-Wisp and Sunny Day, add great dynamism in the shape of a trademark anti-punchback debuff and versatile weather. Kind of an arsonist's dream. Not exactly my dream, though some of the designs definitely came from them. Cinderace, Delphox, Blaziken, Talonflame, Heatran, Colossal, Magmortar. While not always my jam, I've come to really treasure what devotees of Pyromania headbang to. It's the Fire Dancer's oath. Every blast of love both begins and ends in flames. I don't know if it's a true title of honor to be crowned Master of Hard, but rest assured and spam the holy hell, you're still Master of something. I have a confusing relationship with the Steel type. Confusing for you. Assuming you know me, you'd think I'd worship Steel, seeing how goddamn robot crazy I am. Sure, but Steel is just their skin. And of course my PBS lesson of the week ass gonna tell you that don't mean squat. The kings of carbonated iron sure as hell rule like one, as personally the second strongest type of every generation it's in, steel always felt like a super weapon specially designed to deathmatch the gods in any form they came in, as even they themselves were manufactured as the supreme demons of defense, resisting 10 types and nullifying one at its absolute weakest. The robot's inability to sweat lives on in these dense fothermuckers. You know, most people that build a super weapon at least try to hide it. 11 types. 11 suck against steel. This of course means that wearing this mental metal is a declaration of war, cause it's a neon sign to the world that you were literally built for it. Being that hard has its pleasures, thank you Gen Z joke gods, but it also means everything else is Charmin soft. It's nigh easy mode, even in the one place where it's supposed to be a challenge. Because tanking that damn much passively throws a ton of strategy out. It's even immune to poison and sandstorm. And that's not representative of the detailed complexity and application that machines have. It's like technology. Why learn or do anything yourself when one button does it for you? Combined with surprisingly relevant offensive properties and low status move pool, using them in battle gets a little old sometimes. So why is it not bottom 5? Because everything else is epic. Top of the line chemistry, killing pixies with iron, picking through ice, drilling through stone, robots uprising human intelligence, giant mechs kicking kaiju ass, iron ore melting in a heated forge, synthetic metal blocking biological toxins. It's so inspired, and a roster with so many heavy hitters. Cortana, Melmetal, Corviknight, Empoleon, Metagross, Aggron, Aegislash, Mega Mawile, Bisharp, Magnezone. Forget about it. And while I generally don't prefer Steel's hyper-tanking style, the power trip factor can be exactly what I need in a certain pinch. The one to my enemy's nerve. Scales of the brimming stones, moths of matchless menace, domination of the devil unchained, and Fusro, damn, is so cute! Power meets a fighting heart through the voice that tames it, arriving in the shape of a dragon. The longest standing of the dreaded Titans. The dawn of draconian dominion feels like it was only yesterday, where a mighty lizard was revered as a king's weapon. Dragon types charm a great many the world over, deeply enough for me to confidently acclaim them the most popular of all. And the true reason why spawns goosebumps of Arthurian caliber. Ancient tales of runic reptiles unknown was one of the world's first cravings for life beyond life. The familiar warmth of a fellow critter meeting with the epic image of just about any almighty form our being could fathom. Wise, cute, badass, godlike, symbolic, hazardous, wish-granting, priceless companionship, boundless wonder, interpretive dread. Blasting the boundaries between real and fake apart, and bringing us closer to the crux of nature. Dragons were the original Pokemon. And that same magical breed of imagination is something we all take with us upon every boot up. It's magic, it's fantasy, it's why we train. Or you could just be amazed that a dinosaur is vomiting ice. Fair. Well, barely. Yeah, that's the other thing about dragon types. They shrunk! Even after the advent of fairy, these scaly blowtorches are insanely strong. The absolute peak of average base stat totals. The ancient traditions carry strong, thanks to the type's commanding role in legend and pseudo-legend. But I kinda love how much sense it makes, since we've been dressing them up as cold-blooded Jesuses before Jesus. So you have my faith. I can't say they're terribly interesting battlers though. Dragon's offensive properties are almost as bland as normals, and their very shallow status move pools paired with their very common template of all-out god it's too safe. Not very spicy for fire-breathing reptiles. The chemistry's mixed too. The resistances feel like they were picked by dartboard, but I do like the basis for fairy, steel, and itself. Godzilla gets clapped by Tinkerbell, and who else but Mechagodzilla and another kaiju to give him a good fight. Love it. And I love these designs. Dragons are either ridiculously badass or ridiculously cute, with almost no in-between. Gudra, Ultra Necrozma, Flygon, Latias, Palkia, Tyrantrum, Garchomp, Hydreigon, Rayquaza, Zygarde, Regidrago. Woohoo! The Scalies have it good. Been out skipping rocks on a pond with some friends and all of them sinking on the first skip because they just didn't put the heart into it? Well, in comes the deeply disappointed wingman, swinging 20 skips into the sunset. The bane of all scissors is the Pokemon world's Swiss Army sleeper. Figures that Earth's unpoppable pimples would warrant tons of nap time on them. They were man's first pillow. But I'm fed up with that Stone Age view. Playing with rocks. Yes, it sure does. Literally paving the epic path of dynamic offense that ground should've. The most boring thing ever in real life turns out the complete opposite in fake life. Rock's matchup spread is hilarious, being defensively partial to half the universe, all the while utterly plowing a third of it, and still hitting a hacked mon of every type at once hard. Without a doubt, the most volatile and chaotic type. Most call it torture, I call it hype. There's a massive risk-reward thrill in using this insane type for any length. Its infamous propensity to choke on quad-core crotch kicks before the starting whistle is even licked feels like brimstone bazookaed into your balls, sure, but you can't tell me. Finally, crushing cucks with your Wile E. Coyote BS doesn't force teach you harden. Rock thrives on setup, despite the average stats being dumb as a box of itself. Thanks in spades to the upper and lower mantle of its normally crusty move pool, Sandstorm and Stealth Rock. The absolute slowest of all types becomes almighty Vanguard for both weather and entry hazards. The incredible influence of Stealth Rocks deadass silos the meta into several continents of varying privilege, taxing its extremely common elemental prey instantly upon entry, cutting the poor thing's battle budget as high as 50%. Pricks and stones break my bones! Meanwhile, Sandstorm eventually crowned Rock as the leading force of nature and secret kings of special defense. There are so many abilities, so many different strategies weaponized by the Rock type's signature weather. They're all fun to use. Sandville. The chemistry's ace too. Stone squishing bugs, killing birds 2 for 1, pebbles shattering glass, and tectonic plates suppressing magma. The cheeky bastards knew well to make the rosters solid. Rhyperior, Crustle, Lycanroc, Stonejourner, Minior, Tyranitar, every pre-Galar fossil Pokemon. Literal pop rocks to my tastes. My only beef is their near universal physical affinity, just like ground, and their core instability isn't always the mood. Probably explains why Rock is the only type to have never had a true Uber's rep. The pet rock does nothing, huh? Dinosaurs said the same thing. I remember when Mom read me fairy tales to help me sleep. Good thing she sucked at it, because clearly I wasn't supposed to wake up. Here it is. The final and currently unvanquished Type 10. Not so coincidentally, also the newest comer. Or maybe that's me, cause this type brought hype for the entire Poke Pantheon. You know how the saying goes, stop believing in fairies and they drop dead? Well, you're right about the dropping dead part. You best believe it. Pokemon's now infamous younger half of the universe's ultimate cosmic twins. Light blinds all squinting skeptics. For a while, it just felt like something in the balance of power was missing. An overwhelming beacon of definitive benevolence. You know, the mushy stuff. Fairies are thematic jewels, emblematizing purity and radiant comfort through easily the softest of all forms. I'm not kidding, all these things are like voice box plushies that smother you with Care Bear quotes, no matter how hard you yank out the damn batteries. Being a softie myself, I gladly take their 10 million daily I love yous without a fight. And not just cause I can't win them. The fairy type's pedigree of cuteness and beauty is a great stress repellent. It screams, it's okay to hug me. And god damn it, thank you. And even then, many fairies still manage to swim in a strong pool of fierce, fearless pride, making their collective mastery of the special defense stat all the more authentic. Just as I see rock as a more interesting ground, fairy feels like a more interesting psychic to me. Chaotically jailbreaking its similarly enormous status move pool, ascending it to Skull Kid grade mischief. Misty Terrain's status blocking feels a lot more dynamic than Psychic Surge's priority blocking, and attacks imbued with pixie power have a majestic flair that can't be bested. Cause it is the best right now. Its offense is safer than Steel's defense, hitting over 80% of all types safely, and only cracking under attacks launched by 2 defense-oriented types. Makes the great fairies look delicious, man. I'm trying to learn Upchuck. Yet all 4 slots are still charm. These damn designs melt whatever the Moonblasts don't. Sylveon, Xerneas, Whimsicott, Diancie, Zacian, Gardevoir, Togekiss, Alcremie, Mega Altaria, Mawile, and Audino. So goddamn cute! Leave it to the beings of purity to be wholesome. They may share Steel's mind-numbing safety, but that's just about my only turnoff. When both pixie dust and happy thoughts come from the exact same place, you'll be thrilled to discover that you never forgot Fly. You know the thing about Venom? Once it's in you,
It's you.
think the nervous system's aptly named? I wish all the sweat was taking the poison with it, but as I revved up to denounce it as my least favorite, whoops! That died. Guess how? The deities of disease and disgust have come so far, consistently jumping up the ranks every generation, despite everyone cramping their style. Oh, you can learn Toxic? How very special and unique! No. Can don't equal should. Leave it to the experts, Little Cup. What a badass superpower! Invoking biological blight to destroy on an atomic level. Poison is the bane of all flesh. Something about passionately weaponizing the power of gets me so good. This balls to the barbed wire wall type nails its horrifying element to a capital T. Arguably the best status move pool in the franchise grants these nasties nigh infinite access to your body's blueprints, and even more ways to dissolve it. Its deadly namesake status condition murders Stall, planting a loudly ticking time bomb on whatever it damn well pleases, and playing Chinese checkers with your sanity. That is evil! Getting poisoned by a poison is like having a 1347 Europe monster truck stalk you at 5 under the speed limit with infinite gas, cause you think you're getting away. The insidious dynamism these chemical killers allow for actively drives me to remaster my evil laugh hourly. I typically don't favor bulky types, but living longer to munch more popcorn in front of your melting face? Yes, Brittany. The only problem with poison is that Pokemon simply couldn't handle its true form. Real talk? Everything is killed by poison. Every living creature is destroyed and mangled by disease and nuclear waste. Water and air get easily polluted. Viruses kill other viruses, and both solid rock and steel can be dissolved by high-tier acid. The devs knew that's way too damn strong, so they had to stretch it into something admittedly disappointing thematically. And although I admire their attempts to save it, fairies' purity falling to emotional toxicity, weeds dying to weed killer, and both natural and scientific cures for illness, the badass factor takes a huge hit. And although the very idea of polluting organic matter with toxins is terrifyingly fascinating, lots of these guys aren't. With probably the most amount of just okay members of any single type, discounting water, still I can't deny the amazing quality of Naganadel, Drapion, Dragalge, Toxapex, Salazzle, the Galarian Slow Twins, Alolan Muck, Toxtricity, and goddamn, Eternatus raises the standard! The devil came to play, and God choked him with the pill. We're still sick, Pops. You'll run out eventually. ELE speeds the key. CTR leave a scar. INC sweeping spree. Oh man, that energy's contagious. Get in the grave, Energizer Bunny. Your wall socket fired. The homeland of many a revenge killer. Pokemon's central power grid runs on untamable hype. Who needs splitting with the roomie when your hamster pays the whole energy bill in its sleep? I deem Electric as the ultimate of the straightforward types. As in, yes, the entire genus is more or less viable through the use of a single strategy, but it's decorated with so much spirited flair, taking the bribes way too easy. And that's part of the appeal. The Electrics fight an ongoing fuel feud with fellow energy god Fire for complete sweeper domination. Or at least they did, cause that battle ended a long time ago. In what's the single biggest personal buff to any type ever. The advent of Gen 7's Tapu Koko bestowed his entire element a despotic chokehold on aggressive play permanently. This almighty czar of Zap and his horrific terrain conjuring unlocked all the launch codes for the now tactical nuke that is the Lightning Bolt. This divine influence suddenly made the type's oversimplified majority of jet-propelled glass cannons into fickle shock troopers serving a sleepless army, adding so many fun spins on sweeping and forcing the battle pace to snort Sonic Team's entire speed cartel. Tapu Koko made me remember. This type's pretty damn cool. You can thank Pikachu's overuse of lazy kid show writing and contrived fighting game balancing for numbing me to my favorite non-cosmic element. Spoiled rat. I'd be remiss if I didn't celebrate Electric's move pool and defense. The incredible attack coverage spanning physical, special, and status makes moveset customization very fun. And paralysis via Thunder Wave alone sates my smug chaos cravings. The wages of slow is toaster bath. And despite mostly being frail, fast attackers, the very chemistry of the type makes nearly all of them defensively low committal, losing only to ground. And shrugging off bird spam means you have very little to worry about in your plot to Palpatine all the Mace Windows. I love the majority of the designs too. Electros, Xurkitree, Alolan Raichu, Rotom, Luxray, Ampharos, Zekrom, Heliolisk, Regieleki, and of course Tapu Koko leading them like an Infinity War Thor. Don't be shocked, you know it's awesome. Sad how Pokemon's bigger picture falls on blindfolded eyes. Its invincible theme of power through passion is all too commonly gaslighted by all but one type of both man and mon. In this corner stands the birth of all battles. Fighting is an unexpected awe striker. Would you ever expect a giant sweaty pit of punch drunks to be the paragon of organic transcendence? Crazier and crazier the more times I study it. But the brutish faction of the fist strongly reps an inspiring brand of emotional theming. The thought of matching every force from God's abused charity with nothing but your nothing. It's incredible. Your life's an Avildsen masterpiece just waiting for you. And all 66 of these iron-killing Ironhearts are your crew. Fighting's flawless ability to project humanity's rawest answers to adversity, willpower, tenacity, bravery, natural-born devotion is far stronger than any concrete-cleaving chop, captivating the struggling and prosperous alike through the true beauty of a fighting spirit, and filling pockets by making more spirits. Pokemon's martial artists paint with toothpick strokes, matching ground's revolting gift of decimation, albeit in a more cultured way. While physically biased, something I don't favor, you'd be amazed how fun and assorted it delivers those atomic bruise stampers, multi-hits, priority, retaliation, health drain, dual type strikes, debuffing, boosting, low health damage bonuses, hitting through fly, even sacrificial HP binding, by practically melding its attack and status move pool together. Few types leave as little to be desired when pumping out raw DPS. There truly are a million different ways to drink the punch, or dunk nerds in it, cause their dedicated status moves are epic too. Octolock, all psyches, no retreat! Fighting's chemistry is cool too. Karate chopping, concrete, supermaning metal weights, survivor montaging through snowstorms, and kicking the bad and boring times' ass through inspired adrenaline. How do you get that? Through these designs, of course! Fighting has one of the cleanest rosters from a visual stance, with a nigh 0 to 10 ratio of bad and ass to badass. Grapple-locked, Lucario, Breloom, Falling, Surfetched, Hariyama, Zamazenta, Mienshao, Gallade. God, so consistently hype! Thriving proof that you can, you will, for a fight ain't ever worth it without the thrill. Thine great fear draws near. Never trust what faces rear. Forsooth. Nah, for me, big scary book, since the dawn of Johto, these words have stood as the battle oath for dodgers of sunlight everywhere. Circa 2000, we first said hello to darkness. Oh, old friend, the good times, they never age. As the last of only two things that permeate time, dark is unquestionably the universe's sicker half. For your keenly critters to suddenly assume their already earned throne by means of collective criminal uprising. Man, shave off God's beard with that edge. Yes! The forces of nature finally had the forces of evil as their immovable equals. Or so was intended. The Darks innovated the energy spectrum by finally weaponizing immorality, desecrating this once G-rated domain of light with their forbidden grit. I knew it then and know it now, that the boogeyman of the Pokemon realm is as unhateable as he is unkillable. Fairy's epic elder brother ravages our boredom through making so much right out of actions so wrong, defying your pussy-ass laws and can-opening your neck whenever it fancies, giving very few damns in its approaches thanks to its really weird matchup chart, with almost nothing taking its hits well, and the incredibly narrow list of counters. just like a high fantasy supervillain. Dark hits a lot of the same tense, thematic magic fighting does, having easily the highest charisma stat in the whole series. The nasty menace of the Dark type's utility-rich move pool legitimately controls battle flow, and it's not even hard. Blocking status moves, stealing status moves, neutralizing items, cutting in line for cheap shots, intercepting retreats with an already bloody dagger. Playing dirty never felt so clean. Of course, reppin' my favorite cosmic element also makes you mad heavy, destroying all facets of the living mind and dead soul through their cruel pact of the infinite unknown, meanwhile being the primordial evil that falls to rising might and holy light. It's cool how even through their chemistry and designs, Darks feel like the true villains of the franchise. Look at these things! How do you not want to use them to conquer the whole damn world? Absol, Zoroark, Scrafty, Sableye, Hoopa Unbound, Yveltal, Malamar, Cacturn, Grimmsnarl, and the zenith of all soulful shadows, Darkrai. Open your heart to darkness, cause they sure as heaven and hell opened theirs. You never forget your first. I can, and I did. All the PP on fake tears finally dries up, cause the only starter that ever saw its true 101% ending was the one I picked last. Nature called, and I never hung up. Anyone ever tell you your ass is grass? Call me Cheech and Chong with a 12-foot bong, cause that kinda sounds like proposal to me. Grass is the support player's paramount jewel. I've long cherished this type's astounding ability to continuously pamper and renew mechanical entertainment like its own prized garden, personally perfecting a superpower of nature water should have. Grass's role in the balance of power is fascinating, repping the exact same caliber of vulnerable magic that God's green earth so passionately rules by. Grass offers so much support trickery in its move pool. I refuse to journey without at least one by my side. Multi-status infliction, multi-status curing, god-tier defense boosting, passive HP drain, guaranteed sleep spread, self-healing up the ass, earthquake eating terrain. It's sick! Getting your ass vanquished by veggies sounds demeaning until you recognize their hard work. It's one of the most challenging types, partially because of that emphasis on support, not to mention it pitches cotton and catches cactus with tongue. Look! Contrary to common talk, I love that nature is specialized, weak to mistreatment, but is also the most beautiful thing in the goddamn world when it is cared for. Phenomenal theming, and the chemistry makes me smile, cause it's so damn down to earth. Getting sprayed by weed killer, wilting to frost, forest fires, bugs spoiling crops, and birds doing everything but sex to them, all the while completely absorbing water, leaching off soil, and roots rupturing stone. Hell, its chokehold on bulky waters and resistance to earthquake alone gives it a valuable elemental presence. They're so special, and they're so nice. Weight for weight, and there's a lot of it, grass is the most relaxing of all types. Most stepping forth with organic serenity, majestic grace, or just lovable quirk. A few are terrifying, yes, but as they say, damn nature, you scary! Sceptile, Virizion, Rillaboom, Roserade, Calyrex, Celebi, Leafeon, Eldegoss, Appleton, Whimsicott, Breloom, Serena, Lilligant, Superior, Lurantis, Tangrowth, Meganium. Marry me, Mother Nature! Oh, boo! Boo, I say! Alright, now I just gotta die, and I'm officially a top-tier badass creature. Yes! Viewer beware, you're in for a scare. though only a small one. It may have ultimately dropped one spot, but I'm still an elite medium, having chit-chats of all kinds with ye fantastic, phantasmic freaks of supernature. I can't ever picture myself or any of my reincarnations not being entranced by the ghost type. On conception, it's a masterpiece, discovering that death not only exists, but evolves and conquers in and between the rifts of this immortal childhood nirvana. Wait, wasn't steel the metal type? The afterlife taken on by ghosts beyond battle makes them so damn compelling. Bygone fiends on the fringe of life and death, tormenting those who live, animating that which doesn't, mass attacking with their grief-gifted ectoplasm. Scared the balls off me to think that anytime my buddy fainted, it could have been permanent. Well, growing up sounds fun. Yep. Right on! Pranksters at no longer breathing heart. Satoshi's superpowered spooks embody untamable mischief through its privileged elemental prowess and malicious status move pool. The Spectre disrespecters rampage with demonic impunity. Normally, I don't really like using types that are so indifferent to the energy spectrum. I mean, you gotta give a damn sometimes, if you're also wanting me to. But these guys make brilliant sense of it. Even in high fantasy media, very few things actually interact with ghosts. So it being tied with Dragon as the least resisted type is masterclass theming at play. The spirit world's disconnect from all others beautifully plays into their chemistry, with complete immunity to the two temporal types, failing to everyday non-belief, and instilling fear in the superstitious. As for Dark in itself, it's really thoughtful. When all the spirit can talk to is another spirit, it's eventually just gonna lead to fighting. Just replace spirit with human and yep, you got it. And the ghost's only fear, finally being taken by primeval darkness. The other side of the other side. Yeah, we're still talking about Pokemon. Nigh perfectly designed ones at that. Ghost is the first of 3 types where I love every single member. They're just so damn cool. You feel like a badass using them. Cursula, Mega Bayonet, Gengar, Spiritomb, Giratina, Trevenant, Chandelure, Mimikyu, Lunala, Decidueye, Dragapult. Best prep, you're in for the time of your afterlife. Around the 80% mark, a pixelated being needs himself a drink that don't cost $800. Your tears are getting too pricey. I need price less. Ordinarily, cold ones are tossed with the fellas, but a toast to my fellas. Literally are the cold ones. The ice type is an offensive masterpiece. I mean, you're offended. Bottom 1 and top 2? Shut that damn door, Bumbles. How about you come try to? The underprized emperors of the Arctic are an amusing case study of following elemental adaptation nigh 1-to-1. Practicing harsh faith like a goddamn Resident Evil villain, Team Freak felt it proper to build their freezers just like God did his. Reliably ankle-biting fire and poison for planet's deadliest hazard. Yet, you can literally get rid of it without ever even noticing. Sad boy hours. The most coveted ammunition in the Pokemon world comes from the fridge, as the coolest cool dancers twirling around both of its poles attack with liquid nitro rounds, with stab even sharper than the ground's rocks and fighters. Ice nukes 38% of all Pokemon minimum. The reptiles' cold blood frozen, birds banished to the south, plants chomped by frost, and earth choked by snow. And through freeze-drying water, its prey rises to 54%. That's a Sinnoh National Dex worth of cold, dead bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, the origin of yellow snow. It's thankfully not all sheer force either. Through the crippling but rare status ailment, Mist and Haze's respective status cloaking and boost nuking, all the fun layered strategies gifted by Hail. Pokemon's own Krampus is surprisingly sophisticated. Ice's savage pedigree of brutal beauty crowns it my favorite of all the unstable types. And goddamn is it ever! With its gladiator offense nearly matched by its spit boy defense. Ice breaks easier than a Twitter user, melting from fire, picked by iron and stone, and Rocky montaged by fighting. In addition to resisting nothing but itself? Wow! It's like a gun. Everyone wants to shoot it cause it's fucking cool, but nobody wants the packaged career-ending drama for just having it. Another reason the waters piss me off, they get ice coverage for free, giving everyone a nice easy ticket to leave this kick-ass serial killer of a type out in the cold that it's supposed to control. It ain't fair, man. All this prized firepower, all these dazzling, rare designs. Kyurem, Auroras, Glaceon, Glalie, Ice Rider Calyrex, Lapras, Abomasnow, Weavile, Crabominable, Frostmoth, Mamoswine, Avalugg, Ice-Q. Forced to watch in envy. Septgarm, he's our pent-up wrath. Your energy readings may be sub-zero, but my love for you is below only 1. Wonder why a string of Z's is the universal image of sleep? Cause it's the last thing you ever hear before doing it for good. Let's both agree to commend each other's bravery. Your set's holding 2 iron balls for trying to sleep tight in a world where the bedbugs drink X-Men mutagen, and I'm hoarding the rest of the world's supply for proudly feeding them the throne, crown, and castle. From antenna to abdomen, the bug type remains as this infallible light trap built to bait me into a sexy electric blast with everything I love about the franchise. Pokemon's always been this epic epitome of enhancing animal appeal through psychotically charming fantasy. Applying that to what's an army of already reality testing superflies? You are insane! And my bestest friend on earth. This very simple idea, taking the world's most impossibly extra class of creature and setting it loose in a realm dominated by power creep, led to some of the most badass, charming, and spectacularly stylized monsters in all of gaming. Their modern talent of utterly towering and select stats instills so much loyalty to their natural origins, where real-life insects proportionately dominate in strength, speed, survivability, coordination, everything, man. They beautifully captured the essence of these incredible creatures. So what? You're just gonna casually double standard? Flying did the same thing and you fed it short sticks. Wrong. That was chicken nuggets in one sauce packet. This is feeding God's flea circus Infinity Stone Tootsie Pops. That's a quantum leap in Epic. Sure, the start was rough, and a lot of the weaklings dragged down the type's average stat total to be one of the lowest ever. But even their quaint charm contributes to my affection. I love every member, weak or strong, a lot, because their very identity captivates me. And from Gen 5 onward, they became my all-time favorite battlers, mixing the thrills of electric and grass together to generate a mechanically invigorating, rewarding, and diverse species of warrior. The amazing range of attack options, ridiculous utility through moves like U-Turn, Sticky Web, Quiver Dance, Tail Glow, and Pollen Puff. There's so much to play with. And while their offensive matchups are perhaps too harshly limited, like grass, why the hell does fairy and fighting resist it? It kinda makes sense. Mosquito bite don't hurt, tell malaria. Go ahead. Ignore me. I'll eat up your crops. Freak out your minds. And reference Carmen Rider. Cool. And so is the defensive boon of resisting both ground and fighting. I'll gladly get torched by flames, eaten by birds, and squished by rocks in return. What else is left? Telling you the ones I like? All of them! The flitter-flutter of little wings. The starting notes of my epic battle opera. Pest is best. This is being Fawful's Minion. I'm going to sleep. Logan fainted. And now, give it up for the high-tier patrons. Tubazone 1989, Mailman 019, Kyle Wee 21, Cortamanch 437, Egg Zayox, Zay Zandeler, Thomas Drury, Sonic Septile Warrior, Solitaire Seamus, Skellington 977, Shiro THR, Shining Silvally 777, Sephi 90, Roberto Del Fuego, Renaku Lord of Shadow, put 9 Volt in Smash Bros please, Peter Shepard, Patrick Sandlin, Panther J, Nathaniel Sterling, Morgan Arvite, Michael Boy, Mathtron 5000, Masao, Justin Beliveau, Maze Arcana, Luke Johnston, Lucario Smash 246, Love, Crocodile King 25, K-Dog, Kirby 484, Josie Baird, Jake the Snake Arnstom, JW Goji Fan, Goldsbro TSG, Garka 23, Flame Chocobo, Fencer De Rio, Falkyu, Emily Infinite, Eddie Talkspin, Diamond Ice, Chibi Emiko, Beast Gamer, BF Rio, Azazel the Undying, Arctic Kaiju, Alfredo Jones, A4X Guy, Nightmare Steel, Akuma Kuma, Matthew Smith, Eileen Tayasi, GamerFans 64, Spencer Studios, The Gag Reflex, Zack Attacker, Muntry, Daniel Nance, Nova Strife, Anna Roloffs, Konaru, Burn 100B, Philip Cross, Kairu Shinobi, Alpha Red, Crunchy Boy, Shade 2800, Mitchell Roberts, Augie and Panichu, Anthony Lucero, Dr. Dark 7, and Anxiety. May we meet again!